All right, I need to confess something right out of the gate. I have not been here yet. I have not toured this place yet. No flight booked, no hotel, no vault key around my neck. But if you told me there's a bourbon vault inside a historic bank where grown adults are legally allowed to stand around, sip whiskey, and confidently make what will most certainly be terrible blending decisions, I'm listening. I'm leaning forward. I'm already mentally justifying this as quote unquote education. But nothing says responsible bourbon culture like locking people in a steel vault and handing them pipettes, rare whiskey, and confidence. So, no, I haven't been yet. But if this is the future of bourbon tourism, I'm already interested. Welcome back to Bourbon Hunter Anonymous, the only safe place where grown adults confidently justify bourbon tourism as education. This is a judgment free zone. No shame, no interventions, just curiosity, good whiskey, and the occasional bad decision we all pretend was intentional. I'm your host, your guide through the wild world of American whiskey, where research means tastings, culture means distilleries, and just one more pour is never just one more pour. And today, we're talking about one of the most extra, over the top, who approved this and can I go bourbon experiences I've heard about recently. A historic bank, a locked vault, exclusive pours, and blending stations that turn confident whiskey fans into temporary master blenders. This isn't just bourbon tourism. This is bourbon tourism with main character energy. Let's talk about the WhistlePig Vault. What is the WhistlePig Vault? So let's set the scene. Louisville, Kentucky, a historic bank building that feels like it could host a movie set, not just a whiskey tasting. Marble floors so shiny you can check your reflection, or slip if you're too excited about the rye. Massive vault doors that look like they haven't been swung open since the Cold War. Except now, instead of money, it's full of WhistlePig rye whiskey. Rows upon rows, bottles gleaming under dramatic lighting, a kind of treasure only bourbon fans understand. Because apparently bourbon tourism collectively shrugged and said, distillery tours are fine, but what if it felt like a heist movie? What if it felt exclusive, dramatic, and slightly dangerous, but legal? WhistlePig primarily is a rye whiskey producer, meaning the flavor profile is spicier, more robust than classic bourbon, and is a perfect playground for experimentation. The Vault experience leans heavily into curated exclusivity, making it feel like a members only club without the pretension. Interactive tasting teaches you to notice aromas, proof levels, flavor evolution in a hands-on way. Hands-on blending lets visitors experiment, often with more enthusiasm than skill, which is bourbon's culture way of saying, we trust you, but we also don't. Go ahead, make your masterpiece and try not to ruin it. The WhistlePig Vault officially opened to the public on December 5th, 2025, coinciding with National Repeal Day, a nod to the end of Prohibition. Before that, the space hosted preview and VIP events, including a grand opening celebration in early December. It's currently housed in the restored 1911 Louisville Security Bank building at 403 East Market Street, right between Whiskey Row and the New Lou neighborhood, a prime bourbon tourism destination. Now let's talk about the vault itself. Nothing screams adult fun responsibly like thick steel doors, echoing hallways, and strategic spotlights illuminating rare bottles. You don't just walk in, you enter this place, like stepping onto a movie set where the stakes are measured in rye and self respect. Picture it. The door closes behind you with a satisfying thud. Suddenly, it's just you, the bottles, and maybe a fellow whiskey enthusiast. You might even pause and think, okay, I guess I live here now. Which, let's be honest, is a feeling most bourbon tastings secretly aim for. And honestly, that seems to be the magic, the anticipation, the drama, the sense that you're in the right place at the right time, even if your palate isn't quite ready for the adventure. The WhistlePig Vault isn't a traditional distillery tour. No mash to bottle whiskey production is happening on site. It's an immersive tasting and experience destination centered around whiskey, hospitality, and interactive education. So, what's inside? You have the bank lobby bar where you can sip creative cocktails like the signature Flying Pig. Some cocktails are delivered through pneumatic bank tubes, Think old school tubes bringing whiskey drinks straight to you. There are hosted tastings 45 to 60 minutes long, which are guided journeys through WhistlePig's signature lineup in a lively bar setting, perfect for beginners or casual explorers. There are private tastings, 60 to 75 minutes long. These are intimate sessions in the blending room for up to 6 people exploring older and more complex expressions. Then there's a vault collection tasting, which is 60 to 75 minutes long. The pinnacle experience. Inside the historic vault itself, guided through rare WhistlePig offerings that aren't available elsewhere. Inside the vault, the original vault displays WhistlePig's rarest whiskeys, including collectible releases like the Boss Hog series. Certain high-end tastings actually take place inside the vault, adding the ambience and serious vibe to pours. In the blending room, dedicated blending sessions where visitors craft their own version of Whistle Old World Rye, often 12-year. Hands-on pipette chaos combined with tasting education, a perfect mix of ambition, curiosity, and humility. And then there's the whiskey exchange and bottle customization. So it's retail tasting and take-home area where visitors can dip, seal, and stamp their own piggy bank rye limited edition bottles complete with a wax seal. There are no barrel houses or mash tuns focused on guided tastings, curated experiences, blending sessions, and rye hospitality. Reservations are recommended. Tastings and blending sessions are typically booked online. Their hours right now are Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they're closed on Sundays and Mondays. So here's where it gets dangerous: blending your own whiskey, the blending stations. Every bourbon fan thinks, I've got this. I know exactly what this needs. Then you're handed a pipette, a few rare whiskeys, and suddenly confidence levels rivaling a master blender. Blending teaches how age influences flavor and texture, how proof affects mouthfeel and balance, how tiny adjustments completely change a whiskey's personality. Hands-on whiskey education, or as I like to call it, learning respect for professional blenders in under 10 minutes. The first blend, somewhere between ambition, curiosity, and regret. The second blend, slightly better, but humility is part of the curriculum. Even the mistakes teach you something you can't learn from a bottle on the shelf. And then there's exclusive pours on site. If blending isn't enough, the exclusive pours are the cherry on top. These aren't bottles you can pick up at your local store. These are curated, rare, and made for the story you'll tell later, long after the sip is gone. Bourbon tourism is shifting from buying bottles to creating memorable experiences, from passive tasting to hands-on engagement, from shelf collection to storytelling opportunities. You're not simply buying whiskey. You're buying the memory of walking into a vault, making your own blend, sipping something rare, and telling everyone later, I did that, and I survived. That, my friends, is the future of bourbon tourism. Why is this such a big deal for bourbon culture? Here's the kicker: this is bourbon culture leveling up. Not louder, not flashier, just smarter, more immersive, and more experimental. Not everyone wants to chase trucks, fight for allocations, or obsess over secondary market prices. Some people, they want to slow down, sip something special, and feel like they're in a vault plotting their next minor misadventure. And honestly, I respect that. It's about taking bourbon seriously without taking yourself seriously, learning something new, having a little fun, and creating a story worth telling. The WhistlePig Vault isn't just a place to drink whiskey, it's a destination for experience, education, and controlled chaos. If bourbon tourism keeps heading this direction, sign me up. I'll bring the pipettes, the curiosity, and maybe some hand sanitizer. So, no, I haven't been to the WhistlePig Vault yet. But do I want to? Absolutely. Because bourbon should be fun. It should teach you something. And occasionally, it should feel like you're robbing a bank. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who thinks they'd be a great master blender. They're wrong, but they should still try. This is Bourbon Hunter Anonymous. Stay curious, stay respectful, and remember, just because you can blend it doesn't mean you should.